Sean, bright shiny day. Second day of the phenomenal LSA opportunities that exist here at Sebring. What brings you to a place like this?
Well, first thing is my airplane here. We like to display it every year and show everybody the Sky Arrow, which you may know comes in from Italy, from Magnaghi is the company. This is the second one that I've owned. Been showing here for about 8 years now, which is really great. Also like to get the opportunity to talk to everybody about what we're doing with Able Flight, which is of course a disabled scholarship program where we take people from zero to pilot in about 6 weeks under a fully funded scholarship. The show does a couple things for us. One, it helps us visit with our sponsors and thank them for all their support over the years and this year, but also as a display for people with a disability to come enjoy aviation and know that there's a plane here that they could fly, especially if you don't have the use of your legs.
What inspired you to fly?
I was born, and some people just have it. You know, as a kid, air shows, I went to every single one that I could. Model airplanes, had 150 of them in my room, and my walls were covered with pictures of airplanes. Then, of course, Top Gun came out, and I was hooked, so had to do it. Someday, maybe I'll thank Tom Cruise for that, you know.
Now, the obvious question comes in that for you to go out and learn to fly an airplane, you've got to do it a little bit differently than anybody else. It's not a matter of a quote-unquote disability, it's just an alternate ability. What did you have to do, and more important, was that ever really an issue to you?
It was an issue, obviously. So my particular difference is that I can't use my legs. I was paralyzed when I was 17 in a motorcycle accident. So I needed to find an airplane where rudder control was handled through hand controls, so I could fly it all with my hands. So I started looking online, and I found that there's the Sky Arrow, which was designed by an engineer who didn't have the use of his legs, and he put in a factory-built removable hand control. At the time, that was the only airplane company that had it, and I had come across Able Flight. And the story is actually kind of ironic. I called Able Flight, and I said, I'd really like to rent your airplane. I had a good career. I had the funds to do it, and I said, can I rent your airplane? They said, well, we don't really do that, but we're really keen on getting very qualified people to apply for the scholarship. I felt a little guilty because, like I said, I could afford it, but you know, we served both purposes. They needed a success story, and I needed to find an airplane to fly, so it was a match made in heaven. I was their second pilot, and at that point, I bought my first Sky Arrow and then put it back into the program so that they could use it to train others, and then we would have more hand-controlled aircraft in the United States. But still, we only had it from one manufacturer. So the great post story to that is now I believe there's 5 other manufacturers, all within the United States, that use an option for hand controls for people with disabilities to fly. And certainly the successes we've had with Able Flight, with 40 licensed pilots, and probably the most impressive statistic that I'm very proud of is that we're able to have 100% pass rate in the last 6 years. I don't know of a flying program that does that.
What message do you have to people out there, no matter their abilities, who think when they look at an airplane flying along that, no, I can't do that?
Well, it confounds me really that people think they can't do that. You know, I just finished reading David McCullough's book, The Wright Brothers Story, and I thought I knew the Wright brothers, but I didn't. So I think everybody should read that book to understand what these men labored through in order to find the science behind these flying machines. But the second thing I think you'll leave that book with is, why haven't I flown yet? Because if we had Orville or Wilbur here today and we told them the dwindling number of pilots we have and the fear factor that people have with airplanes, they would be aghast. And I think we're not doing a service to the history and the science that they helped create. A talk I like to give is called How Becoming Paralyzed Prepared Me for Being a Pilot. And the analogy that I see in my life is that, you know, when I was paralyzed at a young age, I realized that you're going to get things thrown at you and you have to adapt on the fly. You know, you can have the best laid plans, you can have a flight plan, you know, of how your life is going to go, but you have to be able to adapt. It's kind of like today when them vultures were coming at us, you know, you have to adapt. Didn't plan for that. So I think piloting in general has a very analogous story to what dealing with life as a disability is. It's a challenging adventure. Life is always an adventure, and flying is always an adventure. The biggest thrill that I get now is taking somebody who says, I'll never get in a plane, especially one that small, and getting them up there and showing them how absolutely lovely it is. And when they turn around, they're like, I would do that again. That's where I want to do. So if I could change everybody's perception on that, one person at a time, that's what I intend to do.
Aero-TV is brought to you by...
Based on the popular Sling 2 LSA, the Sling 4 was designed to be the most practical and desirable lightweight four-place experimental aircraft on the market. Find out more about this 115 horsepower turbocharged airplane at airplanefactory.com.
Since 2001, MGL Avionics has produced avionics for experimental and light sport aircraft. The flagship product is the IEFIS, a comprehensive next-generation flight, engine, and navigation instrument designed to meet the demands of the modern pilot. See more at www.mglavionics.com.